Okay, actually look at you. Okay. We look so hard for something that brings us happiness. We tend to look outside ourselves and forget what we have within. We put our hands together to find peace in our days. The present moment is all we have. Don't let it slip away. If we close our eyes, remember all that we have. Our hearts will feel a brighter day. We'll sing Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. Sometimes we get overwhelmed by all the hatred and pain. If we can look past our differences, there's so much we can gain. If we open our eyes to see the beauty inside, our hearts will feel a brighter day. We'll sing Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. Let's join our hands together in gratitude we treasure the golden chain of love. Our hearts gathered in one place, our differences will embrace. We will be as one. Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu.
Makawao-Style Dharma School presents Wash Your Hands. You know, Kenneth, for almost a year, children like you and me, young adults, families, grandmas and grandpas, cousins and friends, and all of Hawaii and the whole United States of America have been stuck at home. Did you know that?
Yes, I know.
It was fun at first, but as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, and the months kept getting longer and longer, we all felt a little sad and alone. Do you feel sad and alone, Ken?
Yes, I do.
I'm here to tell you, and you, and you, and you, that there is hope. Scientists have told us what to do. If we just follow their suggestions, we can beat this coronavirus that is making everyone sick. Here's one of our favorite suggestions that is so easy to do, and it keeps us safe too. It's called...
Be sure to wash your hands.
If we can just wash our hands properly, we'll be a lot safer. And we'll be able to keep others safe too. It's just like wearing a mask. Wearing a mask helps protect you from germs, and it protects people you come into contact with. Isn't it nice to know we're protected and we're protecting others too?
Yes.
So remember, wash your hands. And remember to wear a mask when going outside. And please, please remember, spread the word to wash your hands properly and to wear a mask. And don't spread germs. These two actions are game-changing. Thank you.
After using the bathroom, sneezing, coughing, or blowing your nose,
Be sure to wash your hands.
before eating meals or snacks,
Be sure to wash your hands.
immediately after coming inside from the grocery shopping or playing outdoors,
Be sure to wash your hands.
when we wash our hands, we won't spread germs. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Here's a song we want to share with you. It is to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Sing along with us and create your own actions.
Wash your hands, wash them nice and clean. Scrub them here, scrub them there, scrub them in between. Wash your hands, play our handy game. Scrub them slow, scrub them rough, curves around the drain. Wash your hands, wash them nice and clean. Scrub them here, scrub them there, scrub them in between. Wash your hands, play your handy game. Rub and scrub and rub, germs around the drain. Hey!
Good morning. Today, I'd like to share the story, Baby Buddha's Birthday Party, the story of Hanamatsuri. Once upon a time, a long time ago in ancient India, there lived a king and a queen. King Suddhodana was the king of the most powerful kingdom of all in ancient India. The king was a great leader, a wise king, and the people of the kingdom lived happily together in peace. Queen Maya was a beautiful, kind, and generous queen who was always thinking of the happiness of the people who lived in the kingdom. The only thing that was missing in their lives was a baby to call their own, a baby who would grow up to be queen or king, a baby they could love most of all. One day, Queen Maya had a mysterious and wonderful dream. In her dream, a white elephant appeared before her and bowed, and then said, "Aloha, your wish is granted because you are so kind and always thinking of the people who live in the kingdom." The next day, the king and queen shared the wonderful news with all the people of the kingdom. Queen Maya was going to have a baby. Queen Maya was traveling to her parents' home to give birth to the baby, as was the custom in ancient India. And along the way, Queen Maya got a little bit tired, so they stopped to rest in the beautiful gardens of Lumbini. Queen Maya saw the most beautiful flower in a tree branch and reached up to touch it when the baby popped out. Prince Siddhartha, who would grow up to become the Buddha, the awakened one, immediately took 7 steps, lotus flowers blossoming under his feet. Siddhartha, the baby Buddha, raised one hand to point to the sky and lowered one hand to point to the earth and said, "In the heavens above and on the earth below, I alone am the world-honored one." Wondrous birds flew joyfully through the sky, their voices singing songs so beautiful, the music turns into flower petals that shower down from the sky. Purple clouds of incense smoke perfumed the forest with the most wonderful scent. And wonder of wonders, sweet rain, pure, clean water, fell gently from the sky and washed the baby. All of the forest creatures, the animals, the birds, the fish, they danced with joy, and the people of the kingdom rejoiced and shared the happiness of their beloved king and queen, who finally had a baby to call their own, a baby they could love most of all, a baby who would grow up to be king. And the baby? Well, the baby grew up to become Buddha, the awakened one. And Shakyamuni Buddha, the baby Buddha, whose birthday we celebrate on April 8th, taught us about Amida Buddha's great love and great compassion, Namo Amida Butsu. And that's why we celebrate the baby Buddha's birthday as Hanamatsuri, which means flower festival in Japanese. And that's also why we make a hanamido, or flower palace, for the statue of the baby Buddha, and also why we offer flowers, incense, and light. And that's also why we have the most fun part of Hanamatsuri, bathing the baby Buddha. In ancient India, sweet rain meant pure, clean water that all people, all living beings need to survive. When the story of the baby Buddha's birthday came to China, they thought, sweet rain, that sounds like tencha, which is a very special Chinese herb that is very, very sweet when you make tea with it. So when Buddhism comes to Japan, and the story of the baby Buddha's birthday comes to Japan, tencha becomes amacha, which in Japanese could also mean sweet tea. So when the word amacha comes to Hawaii and the mainland US, it becomes Lipton's tea sweetened with cane sugar, C&H cane sugar from Hawaii. So next year, let's all try a taste of the real amacha, as it's called in Japanese. It's really quite sweet. The story of the baby Buddha's birthday is a wonderful story with amazing and wonderful things that show us just how special the birth of the baby Buddha is. And that's why we celebrate Hanamatsuri every year. Now, if you ask your mommy and daddy or your grandma and grandpa about the time that you were born, I'm sure they will tell you you were the most beautiful baby in the whole world, and they fell in love with you at first sight. And when you were born, the sky was bluer, the clouds were whiter, the flowers looked more beautiful, and the bird songs sounded sweeter, and everything in the world was wonderful. And if you're a mommy, daddy, grandpa, grandma, or auntie or uncle, be sure to hug your keiki today for Hanamatsuri and tell them about how you felt the day your keiki was born. As Buddhists, we celebrate the birth of the Buddha in gratitude for the Dharma teachings, especially the truth of Amida's vow to save all people through birth in the Pure Land and becoming Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. Mahalo for listening this morning. May your day be filled with aloha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Aloha kako. Aloha everyone. Ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning. Let's begin with the wisdom of Shinran Shonin, the founder of Jodo Shinshu. My fervent wish is this: whether monk or layperson, when on board the ship of the great compassionate vow, let pure Shinjin be the favorable wind, and in the dark night of ignorance, let the jewel of virtue be a great torch. The wisdom of Shinran Shonin, in Passages on the Pure Land Way in the conclusion. Collected Works of Shinran, Volume 1, page 303. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Recently, the causes and conditions of this unrepeatable life required an emergency root canal procedure, which is a bit less fun than a regular one. And I completely forgot to take a sweater and wear socks. Now, 3 hours without moving in a freezing cold dental office is an excellent way to perfect the bodhisattva practice of endurance, which our bachan, our grandmother, used to call gaman in Japanese. Now, having reached kandeki, or age 60, the return to childhood in Japanese tradition, the time it takes to go from, do I need to make shishi, to I need to make shishi now, it's about 2 seconds. So, old guy jokes aside, I'm grateful to Dr. Kevin Omuro and the staff of the Pukalani Dental Group for seeing me on an emergency basis, for diagnosing the problem and referring me to a specialist, Dr. Randall Yee and his staff, who bent over backwards to perform an unscheduled root canal procedure that alleviated my pain. Now, how grateful we should be that healthcare professionals are working so hard under such difficult conditions, at great risk to themselves and to their ohana. But it's always about me. It's about my pain. Yes, my pain! It's about me. There's nothing like acute pain to make you Mr. Grumpy. A true pain in the okole to other people. And his buddy, Mr. Whiner, who pouts because no one can see his pain. Boo! Pain, of course, is part of human existence. Our grandson, Cadence, just turned 1 year old, and he has just started to walk. And of course, learning to walk involves falling down, and sometimes getting an owie. When Cadence falls down, he gets up, he's cautious, he grabs onto things so that he doesn't fall down, and he smiles when he gets to where he wants to go. Without the falling down, Cadence would not learn how to walk. Sangha friend Diane K asked a great question about my use of the metaphor. It's not about me versus it's about me, to explain different schools and traditions of Buddhism. So the question, don't we sometimes need the ego to survive? And the answer is yes, of course. The human instinct for survival, for self-preservation, is what prevents us from walking in front of a truck on Makawao Avenue. Now, in the real world in which we live as human beings, obviously the ego self is necessary. And, to be honest, it's not like we can easily get rid of the ego on our own. On April 8th of every year, Buddhists around the world mark the birth of the Buddha. So the Buddha's insights and teaching of the way to the end of suffering, dissatisfaction, and unhappiness became known as Buddhism, and has inspired and guided human thoughts, words, and actions for 3,000 years. Nowadays, the Buddha doesn't get any respect, to quote Rodney Dangerfield. Search online or in social media and you'll quickly find Buddha-isms like these that actually misquote or improve upon the Buddha's words. What the Buddha really meant to say was, life comes with pain. Suffering is optional. The Buddha. The Buddha never said that. Said something like that, but not those words. The Buddha, the human being who awakened to reality as it is, simply taught that reality as it is means born human, you live in a human body, you think with a human brain, both of which grow older and function less well every day. And eventually your human body and mind reach the end of life. So the Buddha's insight was that born human, we are also hopelessly attached to our self, The false idea that there exists an unchanging, permanent essence of Carrie, that's me, that lives on forever. And because we are fundamentally self-centered, we willfully ignore reality as it is, and we experience not only the natural aches and pains of an aging body and mind, but also dissatisfaction with everything we have now, burning desire for winning at all costs, and the insistence that it's always about me. The Buddha's insight is that reality as it is, the Dharma, that human nature is to be self-centered, egotistical, and selfish. You're only human. You're only human. My self-centered and egotistical nature makes me delight in identifying other people's foibles, while deliberately ignoring mine. The Buddha taught that this self-delusion is human existence in this samsara world of confusion and delusion. The Buddha taught the way to eliminate suffering is the Eightfold Path of the Noble Ones, which evolves over the centuries to the 6 or 10 paramita perfections of the Mahayana tradition and countless other paths and practices, including the early Pure Land practice. Because in the beginning, all Buddhist paths required becoming a monk, shaving your head, renouncing this world, turning your back on all of your responsibilities, and total commitment to study and practice in isolation from the real world. Now, by doing so, Buddhist monks strive with single-minded dedication to the elimination of attachment to ego, to shift their thoughts, words, and actions from "it's about me" to "it's not about me." My ego likes to think I'd make a great monk, but self-centered me, right, says, but then you'd have to give up Mimi, the love of your life, and your son, and your granddaughter, and your grandson. And it becomes obvious that the causes and conditions of my life don't allow me to choose that path. And just between you and me, I'm not actually capable of any disciplined, spiritual, or intellectual practice. But don't tell anyone, okay? The strength and serenity to accept the inevitable aches and pains that come with a human body and mind come from the faith of Shinjin, which we gratefully receive through the working of Amida's vow to save all people without discrimination or judgment as Namo Amida Butsu, and trusting in all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion. The life of Nembutsu, the life of Namo Amida Butsu, the life of gratitude, the life of Dharma is to study and embrace the teachings, to make the teachings your own, to awaken to the Dharma, reality as it is, in your unrepeatable life, and to think, say, and act in accordance with the Dharma, reality as it is, not reality as my ego wants it to be. All while carrying out one's duties, fulfilling one's responsibilities, doing what needs to be done to survive and to live long and prosper. This is the way of the Buddha Dharma, the path of Nembutsu, the life of Namo Amida Butsu. This is Amida's great love and great compassion working in our lives and the lives of our honorable friends and fellow travelers on the journey that is this unrepeatable life. This unrepeatable life is rare, wonderful, and precious because of the aches and pains that come with being born human, living in a human body, and thinking with a human mind. And precisely because we are only human, Amida's great love reaches out to us, embraces us, and will never abandon us, just as we are. This is Namo Amida Butsu. This is the path of Nembutsu, the life of gratitude. Mahalo for listening this morning, and may your day be filled with aloha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Deep thanks express for our debt to teachers, for their guidance through